Video games. When I was a wee little innocent gremlin, I played video games to distract me from the modern world and immerse me into a clearly superior world. And, well, not much has changed since then. But over the years, I've owned several game consoles, and I now own an embarrassing amount of games. But hey, in the midst of my school days, the console that provided me the most entertainment had to be the Nintendo GameCube. I was looking through my old GameCube game collection earlier when I had a stunning and very exciting revelation. And by that, I mean I had a sudden urge to talk about my favorite GameCube games to a screen in a room alone. So let's make a list. So I'm going to talk about my top 5 favorite GameCube games of all time. I was considering doing top 10, but I decided to do 5 because my top 5 games hold a lot more significance to me than my games on my top 10 list would, so whatever. Plus it's less work, so you know. There are no rules to this list. Simply the games I am the fondest of. That's it. No other rules or shenanigans. And it goes without saying that there's a lot of amazing games that simply couldn't make the list. This is my opinion. Deal with it. But hey, feel free to tell me your favorite games. I'm actually quite curious. Anywho, let's begin. Number 5. Luigi's Mansion. A game in which you're playing Luigi for a change, going through a spooky mansion, trying to save your brother Mario. Kind of a weird premise that came out of nowhere, and it somehow got so well executed. Navigating the dark and spooky halls of that mansion as Luigi hunting ghosts with a flippant vacuum cleaner was immersive, spooky, full of detail, and so different and refreshing. A game like Luigi's Mansion didn't really exist at the time. The idea of going through this mansion with these sort of cartoonish, silly ghosts was just really cool. Countless secrets to explore and discover while exploring this unique and dark mansion, slowly radiant of ghosts. It worked really well, and it still works well. The fact that this concept was done and so well executed is what got me so into Luigi's Mansion as a series. I'm glad that it got as well received as it did, and, you know, thanks Luigi. I am looking forward to hunting ghosts in a haunted hotel with you soon. Number 4. Pikmin! Why is this a thing, and why is it so good? Picture this. A nerd walks to a GameStop one day in the distant past with his mother and is looking around at various games on the shelves. He sees Pikmin 2. On the box art, he sees a giant monster crab chasing strange-looking flower dudes. He's sold. Pikmin 2 is a game that I have a bit of a hard time properly explaining why it's so good, because you look at it and I could see why you would think it's a bit hard to see the appeal. You're playing as Captain Olimar, commanding strange-looking flower dudes, Pikmin, through a bizarre world of similarly strange animal creatures, fighting them off with numbers, securing treasure, going through dangerous dungeons, and exploring the vibrant world. The gameplay cycle of Pikmin is very enjoyable. You'll spend some days navigating the world above ground, either to secure more Pikmin, secure treasure, or unlock new areas, or you'll go below ground to one of the dungeons to destroy everything in sight with your pre-selected squad of Pikmin, and also secure more treasures. Pikmin's gameplay, world, creatures, it's all wholly unique and so enjoyable to play through. As for why I like Pikmin 2 more than Pikmin 1, I think the main reason is because I like the dungeons in Pikmin 2, which were absent in Pikmin 1, and the world just also felt more fleshed out and well designed. Pikmin is weird, but somehow absolutely amazing. Number 3. Being stranded on an alien world, I would say no game gets that feeling and the feeling of isolation quite like Metroid Prime. To this day, no game has been close to capturing the gameplay, world design, music, and loneliness that Metroid Prime incorporates so well. Metroid Prime honestly seems like a game that came out years ahead of its time with how incredibly innovative it was. A shooter-adventure game that's focused on exploration, with the entire world being perfectly interwoven, branchy paths, secrets tucked away in basically every single room that you can go and search for whenever you want. All the while, the immersion of the game is perfect. The music and the art design make the world feel wholly unique in how dangerous and mysterious this world is. I think the reason there's no other game like Metroid Prime is because the amount of time and effort it takes to make something like Metroid Prime in the modern day would just be too much. It would, the AAA developers were looking and be like, we can't do that, there's no microtransactions. But Metroid Prime, it still stands as a masterpiece to this day, and I'm stoked that Metroid Prime 4 is being developed, being worked on by Retro Studios again, nonetheless. Sure, I'll have to wait like at least 50 years for it, but hey, just the fact that it's actually happening, that's enough for me for now. Metroid Prime. Yeah, it's incredible. Number 2. F-Zero GX is my favorite racing game ever made, and it's also just one of my favorite games ever made at all. It's an absolutely insanely fast racing spectacle. I've actually been on a racing game kick recently, and still, to this day, no racing experience quite stands up to what F-Zero GX offers. No game emulates the feeling of pure high-speed racing as well as F-Zero GX does. It's you and 29 other racers on a track boosting at insanely high speeds, while still maintaining excellent controls and handling. Every other game that claims to be F-Zero inspired just doesn't capture the feeling of insane speeds nearly as well. They also don't control nearly as well or even similarly, and they also don't have nearly as much character and polish as F-Zero. Every track in F-Zero is great and unique, but specifically they're all designed in such a way that's focused on pure speed while still maintaining variety in aesthetic and track design. On top of the near flawless gameplay, F-Zero also has such a fun and unique world. All these silly comic book characters that make you wish there was more to learn about them, on top of the perfect racing and all these varied tracks. Sure, the characters aren't the highlight, but it makes F-Zero stand out as a series even more. F-Zero is just super fun, no BS, high-speed racing perfected, and it's an absolute joy. It was amazing for its time on the GameCube, and it's still a masterpiece today. But seriously, if I made like a top 100 games that deserve a proper sequel list, I would almost certainly put F-Zero GX as number 1, which might sound insane, but it really deserves it. F-Zero's 30th anniversary is 2020, and it deserves a proper comeback. Please, F-Zero GX 2. That's my dream. Number 1. If I had to choose a number 1, then Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door is it. Paper Mario TTYD is a fantastic game. If I had to describe it in one word, it would be charm. I understand how cheesy that sounds, but the game is just so full of character and style. It has such a vibrant, colorful world, and it's an entertaining adventure the whole way through. Paper Mario TTYD immerses you so quickly with how fun and silly the world is. The game just oozes character. The combat system is simple, but has a mastery to it, and the game's difficulty curve was spot on. I still remember that horrific Pit of 100 Trials. Everything in this game is so memorable. All these years later, I still remember all the bosses and party members clearly. And how could you not, with how well designed and unique they all are? I mean, just look at Admiral Barbary, or, of course, everyone's favorite bedsheet, Dupless. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door took what Paper Mario did and perfected it. The art, the combat, the characters, it's all just so well executed. It's a crying shame that Nintendo deviated from the style of TTYD, as the series nowadays is a shadow of its former self. But that doesn't change the legacy of this gem. I remember as a kid I beat this game 3, maybe even 4 times. And sure, I was but just a small child, but I don't think there's any RPG I've ever gone through that many times. TTYD was just that engrossing. This game is a charming journey the whole way through. It's my favorite GameCube game of all time, and it's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Anyway, that's my list. Luigi's Mansion, Pikmin 2, Metroid Prime, F-Zero GX, and Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. The GameCube is a console I grew up with, and I have many great memories with these games. By all means, tell me what your list is well. Thanks for watching. Alright, now it's time to go conduct some dark rituals in order to get me a Pikmin 4, a good Paper Mario sequel, and F-Zero GX2. Oh, sure, Luigi's Mansion 3, that's a thing. Metroid Prime 4, sure, but, you know, F-Zero GX2 after, 15,000 years of nothing,